again, let's get some applause for the vulnerability here. Like you didn't know I had the soundboard here,
know.
but
I love it.
but
I'm
now
not
you do. Yeah. Okay. So you share a story of failure. Time for me. So when I did decide to launch a course, I thought, man, this thing is going to do so well because I had all these people in my inbox and DMs and people asking about a course, but like, it's very different for someone to like say, you should make a course, and for someone to actually take out their credit card and sign up for the course, right? Like that's different. Right. And so I basically kind of went into this hole for months, right? I listened to every podcast episode about launching a course and then sales, copywriting, and all, making an email list and doing all the newsletter, the sales sequences. And like, I did the thing on you, right? And so in addition to all those things, I also talked a pretty big game to all the people around me, right? Especially my wife, right? Like again, remember, in the ashes of this gigantic failure of my agency, which was supposed to be the thing that diversified my family's income, I felt a lot of pressure. A lot of it came internally for me, right? I felt a lot of pressure, like, okay, this agency didn't work out. This next thing better, because I really wanna show my wife like that I'm worthy. Remember, these were not things she was saying to me. This was like my own things of like feeling lesser than, because I had this tremendous failure that she has supported me along the way for so many years. Right. And so it was a lot of this pressure that I was putting on myself. And so when the cart finally closed for my first course launch, I had 3 enrollments when I had this massive expectation of like, wow, what if I make $100,000 on my first course launch? Or what if I have this type of thing? And I was thinking about all these numbers and like, because you see a lot of this hype on social media. My first course launch, right? It's like this whole thing. Yeah. It's like broke the website. Right. And I was like, so I had these fantasies of what it could be. Right. And when I quote unquote only made $4,500 on the first, after spending 6 months. Yeah. Remember, to me, this was a failure. Even though $4,500 doesn't seem good money, but like to me, that was a failure relative to my expectations, right? And so I remember sitting back in my chair, and the cart finally closed, and the only thing I could think in my head was, what is April going to think of me? That was all I could think of. And so I remember getting up from my chair. I walked out this door right here. I climbed the staircase up to our bedroom. She was in bed, and I just kind of spilled the beans of like what the final total was. I still get choked up thinking about this, but she basically said to me, big things take time to build. And I cannot describe to you, number one, how much love I felt for her in that moment. Number two, how supported I felt. But also such a stark reminder of this fact that like all of the hype that you see of like entrepreneurs and creators doing these big things and having these amazing financial outcomes, that is like that is more the exception than the norm. It's actually more typical to have things start very, very slow and very small. And that reminder is what allowed me to just, okay, I'm going to double back down. I'm going to double down on this. I'm going to make sure that these 3 people have an absolutely amazing experience. My number one goal here is to get amazing outcomes for these people, get some amazing testimonials from them, of how I helped them. And that's what I did. I worked my butt off to make sure that these people had an amazing experience. And it went from 3 to 5 in the next cohort, to 7 to 16 to 42 to 48. So it's like, and so it's like just a really good reminder that, and this is, it took, years for me to start having some of these, large outcomes. And so for anyone listening that might be having a similar experience, or, like you, Anya, you put a bunch of work into a creative project and it doesn't have the, results that you're hoping for. It's just a reminder that like, you really do sometimes have to remind yourself that it's a marathon, not a sprint.